of all the cool things in the world. Martial arts, aliens, comic books, games, cyberpunk fiction, animation, dodging bullets, pretend hacking, combined into one thing. What would that look like? Maybe something like The Matrix? If you don't know what The Matrix is, it's nothing. Just the best sci-fi movie to ever exist. The synopsis of the movie is Thomas Anderson, a computer programmer, is led to fight an underground war against powerful computers who have constructed his entire reality with a system called the Matrix. This movie got people excited about the possibility of that level of virtual immersion. At the time, it seemed like science fiction. But these days, it's becoming more of a reality. Virtual reality, to be precise. Virtual reality, or VR, is a computer-generated simulation that replaces our surroundings and fully immerses us in a new one. It is different from augmented reality, or AR, since VR replaces reality with a simulated one as opposed to AR, which is focused on enhancing reality with digital elements. To experience virtual reality, an individual generally wears a VR headset with small screens in front of the eyes, which allows them to see a 360-degree view of the simulated world. These headsets have low latency, that is, very little delay in the video that is being streamed as the wearer of the headset turns their face to explore the simulated world. Most headsets also come with a pair of controllers that the individual will hold in their hand. This is how the individual interacts with the world around them. So you might be wondering, what's in a headset that's so special? First, there are the screens as we discussed. These screens will be stereoscopic displays, meaning that viewers' left eye will see a 2D image, and the viewer's right eye will see a slightly different 2D image. The brain will put these images together and perceive depth, thus seeing a 3D image. VR headsets have different rotational sensors, such as a gyroscope, a device used to maintain a reference direction, accelerometer, a device that measures acceleration, and compass, a device that shows the direction of the magnetic north. These sensors track users' head movement and how the user's head rotates in different axes. VR headsets also have cameras to track the furniture in the user's room, the floors, and walls to understand how the user moves from one place to another. Headsets may also have infrared light sensors in order to provide additional light for the cameras to function properly in low-light situations. The VR experience is multisensory in order to make the individual feel that the computer-simulated world is realistic. In addition to seeing the world, the individual is also able to hear audio in the simulated environment. Haptic feedback creates the feeling of touch via vibrations and is often incorporated in the headset and controllers. A team of researchers at Carnegie Mellon University is even working on simulating the feeling of taste while wearing a VR headset. Types of VR. VR headsets can be connected to a computer, a PC VR, or can be standalone, that is, not connected to a computer. Standalone VRs are more lightweight and cheaper in comparison to PC VRs. Since standalone headsets are not connected to a computer, they offer greater mobility, and the individual wearing the headset can walk around in the simulated environment. PC VRs, on the other hand, have better graphics than standalone VR since they use the graphical power of a computer. They are less portable, however, since they must be connected to a computer. There are more applications developed for PC VRs than for standalone VRs due to the better graphical quality for these devices. The drawbacks of standalone and PC VRs are that they are quite expensive, costing anywhere between several hundreds of dollars to over $1,000. Furthermore, the bulkiness of these devices can be distracting to users. An alternative to standalone and PC VRs are the DIY VRs or light VR headsets for mobile phones that can be created using cardboard or a 3D printer. The headset will essentially enclose the phone so the headset wearer won't be able to see the outside world. The wearer can download VR apps on their phone, which will show a stereoscopic display of the simulated environment. It is important to note that VR headsets for cell phones won't provide a fully immersive experience as many of the best VR headsets do. Cell phones have low computing power, don't have screens designed for VR experiences, and don't have all the best head tracking features. Nevertheless, they are still often fun to use. Applications of VR. So where can VR be used? Games for sure. VR and gaming market size was valued at around US $13.4 billion in 2019 and is projected to reach US $90.7 billion by 2026. Instead of controlling a player in a game via a keyboard, with VR, individuals can feel that they themselves are a player in an alternative world, with the ability to see, hear, and touch things. Depending on the game, a player might use the controllers to drive a car, to grab objects, to navigate the world, or use them as a weapon in the simulated world. In some games, you can walk around to see a breathtaking 360-degree view of the simulated world. Of course, make sure not to walk around too much and accidentally bump into a chair in the real world. Miss Paws may or may not be speaking from experience. Outside of games, it can be used in education. If the past few years have taught us anything, it is that the classroom experience is drastically being redefined. Virtual reality is trying to enhance that experience by providing virtual field trips, real-life experience of the thing you're trying to understand. For example, if you are learning history, what if you could go inside the Sphinx via a VR headset? Or if you're learning about art, you can visit the Louvre. Or if you're learning about technology, you could visit Miss Paws in the Metaverse, and I'll tell you about the wonders of AI over a nice warm cup of milk. Okay, I'm just joking about that last one. VR can also be helpful in social skills training. Individuals with autism may feel anxious in social situations since they have difficulty in making eye contact and understanding social cues. However, through talking to a virtual avatar in a simulated reality, they can be exposed to environments that are stressful in real life and learn how to communicate in social situations. VR headsets can be used in medicine as doctors can operate on virtual patients. Simulations of surgical procedure can help doctors train extra hours, as well as help them map how they're going to approach a surgery in a 3D environment prior to the actual surgery. Can you think of any other potential applications? Let us know in the comments. Challenges and limitations. There are lots of challenges with VR headsets, tech, business, and health-wise. To start off, the high cost of VR devices due to all the sensors and cameras makes it difficult for every household to own a device. Development of VR applications due to the 3D nature of them is also very complicated and costly. A 360-degree 3D interactive video of a real location can cost $10,000 for each minute filmed. Creating a computer-generated or CG environment for a game can be anywhere between $150K to $200K. Even after so much money is invested in such VR games and applications, the graphics may not look as beautiful as regular computer graphics, say if you were playing a game on your PC without a VR headset. The reason behind this is that VR software takes a lot of computing power and is much larger than its non-VR counterpart because of the immersive experience it is trying to create. Similarly, batteries in standalone VRs get drained out pretty quickly since VR experience requires lots of power. For individuals who own VR devices, motion sickness is a huge problem. Motion sickness is an illness which can cause a person to feel dizzy and vomitrocious. Our skin through touch, our eyes through vision, and our ears through sensing motion together facilitate spatial orientation, balance, and coordination in our bodies. When one of these senses relay information to the brain that doesn't match the information that the other senses are relaying, we become confused and have motion sickness. This phenomenon often occurs when we are in a moving vehicle, since we are technically sitting and not moving. But the brain perceives the person to be moving since the environment is moving around us, so to speak. Similarly, individuals wearing a VR headset may experience this as they are still, but the virtual environment is moving around them. Other potential issues are eye damage and fatigue, since these screens are only a few centimeters from the eyes. And just as people are addicted to video games, addiction to VR is a major concern too, as these experiences fully immerse an individual. Ernest Cline's Ready Player One novel and the Steven Spielberg-directed movie of the same name are interesting depictions of what it might look like if people live more of their lives in virtual reality rather than in reality. All that being said, the virtual reality market is incredibly competitive, and it will be exciting to see how VR technology and its applications continue to evolve over time. VR technology has the ability to transform our lives in a positive way, whether through entertainment or education. See you next time!